Okay. Alrighty. So, howdy, everyone. Thank you for joining me for a little Cajun Black Convo. Um, Today, we're going to be talking about something that is not particularly near and dear to my heart, the NFL. Yeah, anybody that knows me knows that I'm not like a major super duper sports fan or NFL fan. However, I will pay to go to some games if I have good friends and family that want to go, just to be able to enjoy myself, have a good time. I will occasionally watch some games on television. I was a cheerleader in high school, but and I had a brother that played in the NFL. However, believe it or not, football and the NFL, that's just not necessarily my thing. Okay? So that's not my big thing. Um, and really, what I really want to talk about is the fact that they're talking about in some preseason games, the beginning of the season, or something. Yeah. Anyway, playing the Negro or Black national anthem early on in the season. I think that the Negro national anthem, I respect it. It is a song to be revered because of what our ancestors had to go through. Um, it's a beautiful song. It is not something that is trivial or that should be taken lightly. However, I want to say this. I don't think having it played is trivializing it or taking it lightly. As a matter of fact, I think that we should demand that the NFL play it at all games anytime they're playing the Star Spangled Banner. Now, a way to get around this and this type of thing in the future for other sporting events, and NASCAR has already did like a hybrid of the two songs, the Star Spangled Banner and Lift Every Voice and Sing. They did that. But a way to get around it here in the great United States of America is to actually have someone come up with a new national anthem, perhaps a collaborative work by white writers and people of color that shows and promotes full unity amongst America and her people. But as long as we have to endure, and I am going to say endure the Star Spangled Banner, I believe that we should have to have it coupled with Lift Every Voice and Sing. When I was younger, I didn't feel offended by the Star Spangled Banner, but that's because they didn't bother to tell me in my youth its history. So I felt very proud and like it was beautiful and like they were talking about me too. But in all actuality, if you know anything about Francis Scott Key beyond the little blurb that you get in elementary school that really whitewashes everything about him, then you know that he was a devout and staunch racist. I mean, he detested and despised, he hated black people. Plain and simple. Let's just start with us. Besides any other people of color, black people, he didn't like us. So for sure, the Star Spangled Banner is not for us. Francis Scott Key owned slaves. Francis Scott Key is the author of the Star Spangled Banner. He owned slaves. He was a slave holder, and he was proud of it. As an attorney and as a judge, he wanted to see runaway slaves and abolitionists punished by death. That's right. He wanted for runaway slaves, people who were running away from slavery, who wanted to free themselves, get away. He wanted them to be punished by death. He wanted abolitionists, people who were working to end slavery, and also people who were helping on the Underground Railroad and helping slaves escape to freedom, to be killed, punished by death. There is no way to justify it. There's no way to make that okay. Because black people did not have to be slaves. Our ancestors did not owe anyone the right to use them as chattel, as property, as slaves, as beasts of burden. They didn't owe that to anyone. So you can't justify Francis Scott Key's stance. He was a racist. He thought that he was better than black people. He thought that he should be allowed to treat us as animals or property. And that is not okay. The third stanza, which is not typically sung, and we'll see why, is because it glorifies the death of slaves that dare to fight for their freedom, including fighting against people here in the United States who were trying to keep them enslaved. They were not treasonous and they were not traitors, even if they fought on the side of the British, because they were being held against their will. They owed America nothing. What to the slave is the 4th of July? It isn't their freedom. This isn't for them. And neither is this Star-Spangled Banner song. It is not for my ancestors. It is not for me. Francis Scott Key despised my skin. So my feeling is, if we must endure at graduations, sporting events, expos, and all types of grand fair events, if we must endure the Star-Spangled Banner as the national anthem, then those who are unhappy with Lift Every Voice and Sing must endure it. It's a beautiful song, so I don't know why they would have a problem with it, especially since it is talking about true liberty and freedom. Nevertheless, there are some who will pretend as though they don't understand, and those who will be blatant with their racism and just not care and just simply demand that they want the Star-Spangled Banner, and they think that that's all there is, and who cares how anyone feels about it. Now, I'm not advocating getting rid of certain Americans' beloved Star-Spangled Banner. I don't think that we have to get rid of everything. And some people won't like the fact that I say that. But if we don't get rid of it, then we need to couple it with Lift Every Voice and Sing. That's the way that I feel. I feel if you must hold on to the Confederacy or anything that deals with slavery or oppressing black people or oppressing minorities, then that should be coupled with something that is the antithesis of it, something that goes against it. It should not stand alone. And I don't think anything's wrong with it, unless, of course, you're a racist. You would probably think something's wrong with it. I believe that we, as black people and also people of color, should be entitled to every liberty and privilege that is expected. Everything that is taken for granted by white people in this country. So if they take for granted that they should hear the the Star Spangled Banner at certain celebrations, games, and things like that, then we should take for granted that we should hear Lift Every Voice and Sing. And there is nothing that is too small. There is nothing that is too small in this battle for equality. Stop thinking that way. Get that out of your head. There isn't some big golden egg that we have to reach for and we've got to push all the little things aside. I am not saying to be satisfied with crumbs. What I'm saying is you take those crumbs and keep demanding the other things that you believe that we need. You don't have to become complacent. You don't have to be placated. You don't have to be pandered to and feel like I've just got to accept this because they've passed this over to me, but I want more and I feel that we deserve more. Ask for more. But I want to leave you with this thought. For those of you who think that this is trivial, I want you to remember that there are people out there, there are white Americans out there who are very angry about this, who are angry about feeling like people are disrespecting the Star Spangled Banner, that anthem. They will argue about it. They will fight about it. There are some who even try to kill behind it. And there are some who will blackball you from your job and try and keep you from being hired behind the Star Spangled Banner. Just ask Colin Kaepernick. So if you think it's trivial, you just need to put it in perspective that way. It's not trivial. And since that song isn't trivial to them, Lift Every Voice and Sing is not trivial to me. And it shouldn't be trivial to you either. If there's anyone who has a problem with this, and I'm also speaking to my white friends, if you have a problem with me saying that people of color should have everything that you take for granted, we should be entitled to those same things, you need to re-examine some things within yourself, because you might be racist, or you might at least hold some racist ideology, because you should want for every American what you have, the same type of liberty and freedom. If you can't say that and see that, you need to re-examine some things. And if that's who you want to be, fine, but claim it, own it. Don't pretend not to be racist if you are. If you are racist, be proud in your racism. Be who you are and let me know so that I can know who you are. That way I know how to handle you and how to communicate with you, and we understand each other. I thank you for your time, and we'll get together soon. Okay? Just think about those things. Thank you, and be blessed.